Washing and seasoning cast iron. What I've learned about cast iron is that it's not nearly as much work as people will tell you, and that a lot of the advice out there basically to me seems to be hazing and not really real advice at all. What I found you can do with a good tough piece of cast iron cookware like this is just, when you get it, the first time you get it, wipe fresh oil all over it, put it on your stove, boil for 15 minutes at highest heat setting possible, and then dump the water out into the sink and put it back on the stove, turn the heat off, let it dry from the residual heat, give it a little help if it needs any help drying, but bear in mind that some of what's going to look like it's wet is actually just wet oil that's still stuck to the inside. The bottom, however, should have been at least partially seasoned and might be dry. And then I suggest you just wipe more vegetable oil on it, and you keep your pot basically wet with oil on the inside, and that's just vegetable oil in there. I wipe vegetable oil on the bottom, around the sides, and on the inside of the lid. Every time it looks dry, basically. After every time I cook on the bottom, and before every time I cook on the bottom if it's dried out since the last time I cooked. It won't dry out if you use it regularly, but if you've left it sitting for a few months, it might. And that's really all you have to do. And on the outside, if you notice the seasoning is starting to wear off a little bit on the outside, just give it a little dab of fresh oil with your finger, and that will prevent it from rusting, and the oil will naturally dry in the air. The only thing you need to worry about is keeping dust out of the inside. You don't want any dust settling down on the inside, which is why something like this double Dutch oven, 5-quart double Dutch oven with a skillet lid, it's perfect to keep the dust out. However, you can also just store your skillets upside down or face to face. You can often, with Lodge or other brands, you can use one skillet as a lid on top of another. It just does not have a self-centering rim. And finally, for cleaning the cast iron, I've learned that I want to avoid soap. And it's not because I'm worried about the soap stripping off the seasoning, because the way I do it, there basically isn't any seasoning. And I know that I'm letting the iron rust a little bit more and that I'm eating that rust, but I'm okay with that as long as my iron levels don't get too high. If you think you might have iron sensitivity or something, obviously don't do that. But if you're okay with eating some iron in your diet, and lots of people don't get enough, I feel like this is a great way to do it. And it rusts itself smooth eventually, like it's been polished. All the little rough bits rust first. All the mountaintops wear off. So anyway, about washing it, this is a little chunk of wood. I've just sawed off a little chunk of wood. You got some firewood, you got a dead tree in your yard, a dead branch. You can find one around town somewhere that they'll let you have a piece of. Saw off a little chunk like this. Put some vegetable oil on it. Wash it, put some vegetable oil on it, let it soak in. Now you have a cast iron scrubber. It's a little scrubber puck, and and that's how you clean it. No soap. The oil that you're constantly putting in there, the fresh oil that you're constantly putting in there before every time you cook, it's going to mostly prevent things from sticking. And you know what I find? Even if you burn something really badly onto the iron and it's a stuck mess, call it a novel form of seasoning, and what you can't scrub off with your little wooden puck, just leave it there. Don't worry about it. as long as it's not something that's going to give people allergies, or you've got a vegan in the house and you eat meat. I mean, I'm personally vegan, so I'm not going to offend myself, and I keep my cast iron cookware a personal thing. I'm the only one that cooks with this. If I've got guests, if I'm letting somebody else cook with my cookware, I think I'm going to lend them a stainless steel pot instead of my iron, unless they're also a vegan or I know them really well and I know that they respect my diet really well. But anyway, that's all, folks. A little wooden puck and fresh vegetable oil. You don't need soap. You can rinse it, you can scrub it, you can leave a little bit of burnt stuff stuck to it, and over time it's either going to fall off or, burn away or whatever. It's not a big deal. Doesn't matter if it's a burnt piece of rice or a little bit of vegetable oil. If food is doing a good job of seasoning your iron, that's all you need. Anyway, this is a big long video, and I'm going to sign off now because it's gone on longer than I was thinking to. But take good care of your iron. It'll take good care of you. Happy eating.